talking about listening to non-male artists, that was my criteria for both 2022 and also 2023. I expanded it, but in 2022, I specifically was listening to women and the gays. Like there was no one else I listened to out of that that space. And I even told you that like the criteria was women and the gays. That was the overall and blanket criteria. Last year, I it wasn't like completely locked like that because I wanted to listen to Kenyan artists and yeah, I was trying to open to every Kenyan artist that I could find whom was um could stand. So this year I noticed that even with my reading, in 2022 I was only reading queer people and specifically though this one I started in 2019. In 2019 I specifically started looking for black women writers and those were the only people I wanted to listen to. Those are the only people I wanted to listen to. And then in I read a lot of queer work, theory, and also black women, like starting to read it in 2019. And books are also like music. There's as many books as there are people. And in 2022, I kept on. Last year, I was able to like there was a bit of diversity in my reading in terms of like going away from reading only queer writers and women writers, but also trying to read um, non-queer writers and being black women and queer people, black queer people specifically. When you come back, uh,
Yes,
it's
Babu
kind of hard
disappearing.
when you go back to the when last year. I think part of that made me struggle. I struggled with reading last year a bit, like somewhere in now I'm looking at it, somewhere in September and October. Of September, I read only one book, and October I read two books. Yet the entire year, like every month, I was reading 8 or 7 books. So there was that. And I don't know what was happening in December, but December I read a lot. I think I read like 10 books. Yeah. So, and then last year, I don't know if you can see, last year I was reacting to all the books I read using emojis. I didn't write any review, except if someone specifically asked me, write for me a review of this book. I've seen you've read it. I was reacting to all the books to just see how I felt. And it was, I can say almost it for every emoji that I wrote under a book, I can say whatever was happening. And then last year too, I tried reading more Kenyan books than I'd done in 2022. So last year, maybe I focused more on Kenyan media like literature, articles, essays, and also movies a bit. I struggle with those ones, but yeah, I watched for I think every 2 movies I watched last year, one was Kenyan or film. The films, one was Kenyan. TV shows, no, I didn't watch any Kenyan TV show because they don't hold my concentration long enough. Though the time I was with Viva, I was able to watch. I hope it's called Salem, or they just
Mm-hmm.
talk about that place a lot. Salem, yes, I watched a bit of Salem. So yeah, uh, this year I my reading challenge is to read books my height. I'm like 155 centimeters long. and books tend to be like 1 or 2 centimeters long. So I'm going to read like around 80 books, which is like around the same amount of books I give myself every year to read. Last year I read 76, and in 2022 I read 112 or 113, depending on how you look at it. The book I finished with the year is the book I began the next year with because I felt like I rushed it. So I counted for that previous year and I counted for last year. Yeah, that's it with the books. And with the books too, I've written the books that I've wanted to read that people have suggested to me more than the books that I actually am interested in. So the ones I'm interested in, I'll just read them randomly. But the ones I'm going to write down are books I actually want to give my time and most probably even buy. Uh, I've wanted to read Giovanni's Room. I was suggested to Philosophy Tuesdays with Mary. I've never read that. A Thousand Splendid Suns, wasn't aware. Stay With Me, that. Kaitrana, nearly all men in Lagos are mad. This one, someone even went ahead and bought it for me, so I'm going to read it. Atonement, uh, I still don't know which specific Congolese books I'm going to read because I've gotten the suggestion, the list. Someone sent a list to me of what I could read, and Sudan the same, and Palestine the same. House of Rust and Dust. I've wanted to read Dust for so long, and now I'm going to read it at last. House of Rust. I was waiting for the hype to go down. uh, then there is Mori. There is Murakami. Eh, Yeah, I've wanted to read Murakami, and I'm going to at last. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna. So this is one of those where I'm caught off guard because I'm for the first time I'm not going to. My list is not guided by like my overall blanket has always been to read the gays or black women, not just women but black women. And for the first time, I'm not living with that. I don't know. The my media book is not here, but yeah. So that and also trying to actually read the books in this library to stop buying books to read. Yet I have lots of books here that I realized. The other day I was going through my books and I realized, imagine there are books here that hata sijafungua packaging zao. So I need to do better. And they see me bringing new books and I read the books immediately. For the first time, I don't have a Kweke in my TBRs. So there is that. Um, the people who are always there that I don't know if they'll ever leave is James Baldwin, Toni Morrison, Octavia Butler, and Audre Lorde. Those four. Yes. They've
There
never
is
left. So
there
there is
is
that.
there is a thrilling book that I'm currently reading that offers a beautiful and unique reading and perspective on Octavia Butler's Black Child and Toni Morrison's Beloved. It's such it's been a read that I've been thrilled by, and I am relishing a lot,
Are
a
you going
lot,
to
a lot.
share? So you can give me that. We can
Now,
exchange it with the hip hop one.
I
What
am done with this life.
do you mean no?
Wambui